The Warriors missing the playoffs this year was a big letdown, especially for a team with Steph Curry. It's clear as day that they need to make some changes if they want to get back into playoff and championship contention. Steve Kerr knows that they can't run it back with the same roster for the 2024-25 season. The team is expected to be active in the trade market, looking for ways to shake things up and improve their chances next season, like a certain star down in South Beach, or maybe even a familiar face out west. Hearing what the Warriors have planned may just shock you. The Warriors really dropped the ball this season, reminding everyone that their glory days might be behind them. It's tough to watch the Warriors fall from grace. They went from reigning champions in 2022 to barely making it as the 10th seed, fighting just to reach the playoffs. This season, they had some decent draft picks with Brandon Podziemski and Trayce Jackson-Davis, but it just wasn't enough to fix their issues. Injuries, chemistry problems, and plain bad luck seemed to plague them. By the end of March, the Warriors were tied with the San Antonio Spurs for the most blown leads this season. That's not exactly the path to a deep playoff run. Their perimeter defense was shaky all season, which didn't help their cause. It was clear that some major changes were needed if they wanted to get back to their winning ways, whether it's tweaking the roster, finding better chemistry, or just staying healthier. Something's got to give. They finished 10th in the Western Conference with a 46-36 record. Despite a strong finish, losing just 2 of their last 12 games, they couldn't secure a playoff spot. They faced a do-or-die play-in game against the Sacramento Kings, and it ended in heartbreak. They needed to win by at least 12 points to advance to the quarterfinals, but they were outplayed, losing 118-94. Keegan Murray dropped 32 points, and De'Aaron Fox added another 24 for the Kings. The Warriors missed the playoffs for the first time since 2021. This marked the third time in the last 5 seasons they've missed the playoffs, including 2 eliminations in the play-in tournament. The Warriors, who once boasted 4 NBA championships, faced a disappointing end to their season. Just 2 seasons ago, they were celebrating their 4th NBA title. Now, they couldn't even get past the play-in tournament. The loss to the Kings left them pondering an uncertain offseason. With an aging roster and high payroll, tough decisions lie ahead. Players like Klay Thompson and Andrew Wiggins have hefty contracts, adding financial challenges. The big question is, what's next? Do we mourn the end of an era or brace for changes? One thing's for sure, change is inevitable. Draymond Green said that's now back-to-back seasons getting eliminated in tough closeout games, but far earlier than we expect, especially this one. Not being in the playoffs, this sucks. We got to go back to the drawing board, retool. He certainly isn't wrong one bit. For a team like the Dubs, you can't miss the playoffs and expect everything to stay the same. For a team with the kind of success the Warriors have had, change is needed. In recent years, financial constraints have limited the Warriors' significant roster moves, aside from the Jordan Poole for Chris Paul trade last summer. But this offseason might need to be different if they want to return to championship contention. Superstar point guard Steph Curry is a lock for the 2024-25 roster. The Warriors management has made it clear they can't envision a scenario where Green doesn't return. Klay Thompson, an unrestricted free agent, is likely to return, but it's not guaranteed. With the core of the roster likely staying the same, the Warriors face a sky-high payroll and limited ways to significantly improve the team. Second-year general manager Mike Dunleavy will have to get creative. This offseason is going to be critical for the Warriors. The Western Conference is only getting tougher with teams like the Houston Rockets and San Antonio Spurs catching up to the likes of the Oklahoma City Thunder, Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves, Dallas Mavericks, LA Clippers, Phoenix Suns, New Orleans Pelicans, and Sacramento Kings. Warriors coach Steve Kerr knows they need to make some changes this offseason to stay competitive. Steve Kerr said, "We've got an offseason of reflection and transition, but that doesn't mean this thing is over. This offseason is going to be different. It's the first time I think that I felt like there needs to be some changes, but I don't know what it is." The Warriors have $174 million in committed salaries for the 2024-25 season, which is already above the $171 million luxury tax threshold. According to Steve Kerr, it doesn't make sense to have a massive payroll right now, and you can't spend this much money for a team that didn't make the playoffs. Chris Paul's $30 million 2024-25 salary is not guaranteed, so the Warriors could move on from him and use him as a trade piece. They might also bring him back at a reduced salary if he's willing. Andrew Wiggins underperformed last season and is entering the second year of a 4-year, $109 million contract. The Warriors might consider moving him to free up salary cap space. A lot of tough decisions will be made. Marginal tweaks aren't going to cut it. This summer, the Warriors need to aim for the fences. They have the assets to make a blockbuster deal happen and need to put more top-tier talent around Steph Curry. Let's start with the dream scenario: Kevin Durant. The idea of KD returning to Golden State might seem far-fetched, but don't dismiss it too quickly. After the Suns' disappointing first-round exit, KD might be looking for a change. Plus, he'll be teaming up with Steph and Kerr at the Olympics, giving them plenty of time to reminisce and possibly plot a reunion. KD remains a top-tier player, averaging 27 points on an incredibly efficient 52.3% shooting from the floor and 41.3% from three. He's set to make $51.2 million next season, and while that's a hefty price tag, the Warriors could potentially cobble together a trade package with their younger assets and future picks. During KD's 3 seasons in Golden State, they had a .740 win percentage, made 3 finals trips, and won 2 titles. KD was a perfect fit, snagging finals MVP each time. Since leaving, he hasn't found the same success, with super teams in Brooklyn and Phoenix reportedly feeling uncomfortable with his role there. Bringing KD back would be amazing, but it's mostly a pipe dream. There's no sign he wants out, and even if he did, Phoenix likely wouldn't trade him to a Pacific Division rival. The Suns just hired Mike Budenholzer as head coach and seem set on their core trio of Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal, despite financial complexities. A more ambitious, yet slightly more realistic target is Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler. Heat president Pat Riley criticized Butler's trash-talking during their first-round series against Boston, sparking rumors of unease.
If you're not on the court playing against Boston, you should keep your mouth shut.
If Miami does consider trading him, the Warriors would likely be interested. Butler fits the Warriors' culture and could thrive along Steph. He's averaged over 20 points in each of the past 5 seasons and shot a career-high 41.4% from 3 this season, making him an appealing addition. However, his injury history and contract situation are concerns. While Butler seems more attainable than KD, there's still no solid indication Miami is ready to part ways with their star. Steve Kerr has hinted at changes, but hasn't specified what they will be. The Warriors need to figure out if they can make moves to return to championship contention, or if they should focus on developing their younger players. Whether it's aiming for the stars with Durant, making an ambitious play for Butler, or settling for younger talents, one thing's for sure: the Warriors can't stand still. They need to make some bold moves to stay relevant in an increasingly competitive Western Conference. Here's the likely scenario. The Warriors will start by trying to reel in a big fish. Think LeBron James or KD. Yeah, even LeBron has been in the news for a possible move to Golden State. Apparently, they made a play to get him in the trade deadline this season. It didn't work out then, but who's to say they won't try again? They'll explore every possible angle, but let's be real, those deals are long shots. Most teams don't land those kinds of stars. When that doesn't pan out, they'll pivot to a plan B. What's plan B? They'll probably look at Chris Paul's $30 million salary and think about reworking it to something more manageable, or even letting him go. His contract is non-guaranteed, which gives them some flexibility. Another potential move is exploring a trade for Wiggins, just like we said earlier. Re-signing Klay Thompson is on the table, but they're not going to overpay. His return is likely, but the Warriors need to be smart about their finances. Another player is Kevon Looney. This is a bit of a question mark. He has a partially guaranteed contract for the 2024-25 season, which means if the Warriors keep him, he's owed $8 million. If they cut him, they still owe him $3 million, which counts against their salary cap. Looney is a fan favorite and a top-notch backup center. This season, he proved his worth as a reliable backup, especially when Trayce Jackson-Davis or Draymond Green needed a rest or were in foul trouble. The Warriors need to decide if they can find a cheaper backup center that can perform as well as Looney. It's a tough call, but let's say the odds are 50-50, with a slight lean towards Looney staying. Another factor to consider for the Dubs is their younger talents. This season showed that the Warriors need to lean more on their young talents like Jackson Davis, Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, and Moses Moody. These guys need to step up in certain matchups, and that trend will only continue. Going forward, the Warriors should focus on drafting players similar to TJD, young, NBA-ready talents who can contribute right away. This strategy helps keep the roster fresh and competitive. It's tough to pinpoint a specific player to trade Kuminga for, especially considering he's still on a rookie contract. Any trade involving him would likely require packaging him with someone like Andrew Wiggins to land a player on a larger contract. Very unlikely, considering how he has probably been the Dubs' second best player this season. As for Wiggins, I'm not as optimistic about his impact on the team, and I believe the Warriors could fare just as well with Moses Moody getting more minutes. With potential roster changes on the horizon, Moody is poised to see an uptick in playing time. Steve Kerr has expressed a desire to give Moody more minutes, and with potential departures of veterans like Paul, Wiggins, or Thompson, there's room for him to step up. Moody will need to show improvements in certain areas to earn that playing time, but the opportunity is there for him. But as the uncertainties lie in the air for the Dubs, their fans would hope that the front office gets every move right, because another poor season won't sit well with anyone. So, what do you think the Warriors need to do? A mini rebuild or aggressively look to make some trades?